So far you have seen what is API mocking and how to mock API request in Playwright. In this video I will talk about how to mock API response in Playwright. So here I will navigate to the same Medium article which we have opened it in the previous tutorial. If you scroll a little bit down here, so firstly I have covered the how to mock API requests in Playwright. Then second topic I have covered how to mock API responses in Playwright. So let's navigate to this topic. So let me explain you step by step how to mock the API responses in Playwright. So here I'm using the root parameter. By using that, I'm calling to the fetch method. So firstly, I'm fetching the test data which is present in the web page, and then I'm saving that into the response variable. And by using this response variable, I'm converting into the JSON object. And then in this JSON object, I'm adding the mocked test data. So if you see here, by using the push method, I'm adding the JSON object here. So which contains the two properties. One is name and second one is ID. So like this, you can add the n number of test data here. And finally, I'm fulfilling it by passing the response and JSON variable data here, right? Let's look at the complete test, how exactly it looks like. So if I scroll down, so firstly here we are mocking the API response. So as usual, we are using the same API URL in the root method. Then, so after navigating to this URL, so we are validating all the texts are present or not in the web page. So let's start creating a spec file and we will automate the mocking API response in Playwright. So here I will quickly create the one spec file under chapter 6. So here I'll give the spec file name as 10. Here I'll say mock underscore API response dot spec.ts. So that's it. Here I will go to the mock API request spec file. So simply I will copy the test from the previously created spec file and I'll paste it here. So that's it guys. So let's update the test title first. So here I'll say mock API response in Playwright. So inside this root method, right? So let me update this comment. So here I'll say mock API response. So inside the root method, we are using the same URL. Already I have showed you how to get this particular URL. So if you navigate to this particular web page, demo.playwright.dev/API-mocking. So if I go here and inspect this web page and let's navigate to the network tab here. So if you refresh this page, so here we are getting the fruits API. So from here we are getting this particular URL. So simply we are adding the generic URL here and inside this function root function. So we have to use the await and root parameter by using this. So here we have to call to the method called fetch. So we are calling to the fetch method to fetch the web page test data. So let's fetch the web page test data and assign back to the one variable called response. Then by using this response, I am converting this into the JSON object. Then I will assign back to the one variable called JSON. That's it guys. Now for this JSON object, so we have to add the mocked test data here. So let's add it by using the push method. So here I'll say JSON dot push, and inside this we have to pass the object. So let's cut this object and paste it inside the push method. And similarly, let's add the another three set of mocked test data. So it will say push. So similarly, let me add another two lines here. Then we will add these three JSON object in the push method. So I am adding the second one. Let's add the third object, and then let's add the final and fourth object here. So we are done with creating the mocked test data here, right? At the end, here we have to pass the response and JSON here, right? In this fulfill method. So already I'm passing the JSON here. So let's pass the response here before the JSON. So that's it, guys. So this is how you can create the mock API response object, and you can fulfill it by using the fulfill method. So here already we are navigating to the URL. So if you look at this particular URL, this is the same URL whatever we are using in this web application or a web page. Then, so here also I don't think we have to update anything. So simply we are identifying the all the elements by using the text. So whatever that data here we are mocking, right? So all the data is passed over here, right? So there is a Cypress by tester stock. Here you can see that. And at the end, we are validating API testing by tester stock is present or not here. Correct? So we are done with writing the test for mocking API response in Playwright. Now it's a time to run the test and check the Playwright test report. So here I'll run the test. And if you see here, guys, so already our test is working fine. So it is got passed. And if you see our browser also, so there is already existing fruit names are available. On top of that, so we have added the mocked test data here at the end, right? So this is how you can mock the API response in Playwright. And let's check the Playwright test report also. We should be able to capture the same screenshot in the report also. So here I'll say reveal in Finder. And if you see here, our test is working fine. So if I scroll down, so same web page screenshot you can see here, right? So we are able to create the mocking of the API response in Playwright.